Hi, folks. I'm John Meisner, and gosh, I'll tell you, I'm in one of the most beautiful places I've ever been in my life. We're in Colorado today, up in the mountains, and we're going to be ice fishing. And while the guys are getting set up, I'm going to be fishing with Mark Armstrong today, and he probably is the very finest, most knowledgeable ice fisherman in this part of the country. He's got so much to share with us, and hopefully by the time the show's over, we're going to learn an awful lot about ice fishing. And I'll tell you, for all you folks up in the Northeast and in the Midwest that love to ice fish, I think you're going to learn an awful lot, maybe a whole new way to ice fish today. And for those of you that have never ice fished before, this may be enough to open up a whole new sport for you. So I hope you stay with us.
Rod and Reel Streamside is made possible by grants from Car Freshener Corporation. We make the Little Tree air fresheners for your home, car, and camper. Tourism Quebec. When the name of the game is fishing or hunting, a wilderness adventure is closer than you think. Quebec. And the National Media Corporation, the makers of patented flying lures for all popular species of game fish. Lures that swim away from you and change direction. Flying lures find the fish.
5 a.m. and the alarm clock rings as you wake up to the smell that good coffee brings in the morning. In the morning, the car's all packed for 6 a.m. and I'm doing the best I can to be on time. We're going fishing. Sun is shining and there's no breeze as we look at everything as we float through the trees down the river. Down the river. I got all my tackle and my favorite rod as we pass by the swamp with a broken frog. I know we're almost there and I can't wait. You see, today we're gonna go a special place. I know we are going Streamside, Streamside, we're going fishing.
Well, folks, as I said, today we're going to be fishing with a guy that really knows what he's talking about when it comes to ice fishing. In fact, Mark Armstrong single-handedly has had more to do with the ice fishing sport here in Colorado than anyone else. He's made it not only his passion, but devoted a good many years of his life to coming up with a way that people could take advantage of the tremendous fishery here, especially the reservoirs and lakes that are full of trout. People would come out here in the past, and they knew the trout were here, but they couldn't catch them. And as we go along today, Mark's going to tell us, gosh, there's so much. There really is. I mean, just in meeting him and talking to him, I've become so intrigued with the sport and what he does. But we're going to take it one step at a time. That's all you can do with anything. First of all, Mark, I'm really thrilled that you got me out here to this indescribably beautiful area. Now, in the lake we're fishing today, this is rainbow trout?
Rainbow trout. We have high-altitude Colorado cutthroat trout. And then we've got some pike in here and whitefish, and also splake. They put some splake in here, so and also brookies. So we're going to get just a wonderful variety of fish. But I think the majority of the ones we're going to catch are high-altitude rainbows for the most part.
Now, again, you really, there's so much here that I don't know where to start. But what Mark has done is he's with his auger, he's put in 3 holes here right close together. In the middle, you have your depth finder, your fish finder.
Yes.
Which was designed specifically for ice fishing. You've even designed the flies or the jigs that we're going to be using, the
That's
rods,
right.
the line. Everything is down to a science, but the science makes all the difference. So, I guess we begin.
Well, let's see where we are. We'll check our depth.
Okay.
Hook up here and take it one step at a time.
doing now with your reel?
Well, I'm reeling down to the fish, and then I'm moving the fish without my hand on the crank. You see how he runs it and then back reels. That way, if I had my hand on the crank and he did make a run, he would snap the line.
Uh-huh.
Now this rainbow is pretty lethargic right now. He's right by the edge. And I just heard him says, "Can I come in?"
Yeah, he's in the hole.
He's in the hole. Oh, what a gorgeous, look at this one.
They're all pretty.
And look at where he popped the jig at.
Yeah. Well, you were jigging.
Jigging for him.
All right, now I'm going to tell you what I'm going to do. After you let him go, I'm going to tell you some good news for you. I'm going to make you let him go first.
Boy, isn't that pretty?
Sure is. Boy, they are beautiful. Beautiful.
It's getting back in. Oh, boy.
Okay, now let's talk just a minute here. Can you kneel in this position?
I'm good.
So we can,
I'm good.
You know, the whole reason that this all came about is years and years ago. Mark, growing up here in Colorado and loving to hunt and fish, had an accident, and it completely smashed his ankle so that he couldn't partake in the things that he loved. And rather than just quit and give up, he had to find something that he could do. He couldn't walk into the high country anymore. He couldn't get back in there to fish for these fish in the open season because of all the walking that's involved. So he became an ice fisherman, and that's why I asked you about kneeling, because I know there's certain angles that you can't. But what it did was it made you hone in on how to become the best ice fisherman possible.
We tried so many things, and I say we because my wife was such a contributing factor. She put up with me through so many trips and so many cold nights out there, but we tried just numerous different techniques and experiment with this, notes with this, and you noticed, Don, I still have 3 corn grubs on here on a very sharp
You never
hook.
took them off.
No, you can usually, there's been days where I've caught 8 to 10 fish on a release basis with the same 3 grubs. They're so durable.
Okay.
And it's a larvae, and that's like an ice cream cone to fish down there this time of year, which makes it pretty productive.
You've designed this so that it lays a certain way in the water, which you found is extremely
Oh,
critical.
yes. If they hang laterally like that, we don't get as good at acceptances as far as taste.
If they lay up and down.
Right. So after, say, like when you miss a fish and you do feel tension, bring your line up, take the jig and straighten it up on the knot so it hangs like that.
Yeah. This is how you want it to hang. I'll leave my hand here as a backdrop so you can see. You want it to hang. This is how it's got to hang in the water. Just like a minnow would be swimming, just like that.
Exactly.
Not up and down. If it's up and down, which an awful lot of jigs would be because of the way they're designed and weighted, then it's not going to look natural. You're not going to get the same hook set if, in fact, it hit it. It's got to lay just like that. All right, let's get it back down. Then we'll talk a little bit more about what we're doing. And let me clean out this side. I missed mine. I had a strike, but you know, just in the way you set the hook is all a science too, and we're going to hopefully be able to show you that. Because I did it wrong. I did it like I would do in the summer. Let's look at the next part of the system, and that is the reel. Now, I've alluded to this, and I asked Mark as he was bringing up to tell us what he's doing, but this is a specially designed reel by Mark. Now, granted, he searched high and low to find something right, because when you're ice fishing, if you rely on your drag is going to twist the line, and as it becomes twisted and kinked, instead of being 4-pound test, it becomes 1-pound test. The second thing is that the colder it gets, the less reliable the drag is. You may set it so that it comes out wonderfully, and then when a fish hits, it may bind and you lose the fish. Finally, what a lot of people don't understand is that the more line you have out, in other words, the less line there is on the spool, the more drag you actually have. So it becomes unreliable in that sense. So Mark wanted to find something that he could use that had no drag at all. And he found these high quality Zebco underspins.
That's correct.
And then modified them highly. And let me just turn this reel around here so we can see it. Now what we have here is a lever that Mark put on the reel, this lever here. And when it's in the forward position, it allows the line to come out,
That's
right?
correct.
Okay, so that when he's battling the fish, it's like this. When it's back like that, that's the way it is as the rod sets down here waiting for a fish to hit. There's absolutely, the line is locked in tight there, so that when that fish hits, you set the hook, your line doesn't move. As soon as you hook the fish, the lever goes forward, and now it's almost like back reeling, like I used to love to do with my old spinning reels. And
That's
people
it
used to
right
say, why do you do that? Gosh, I could do so much better back reeling than using a drag. Then as he fights the fish, and if he gets a really big fish, see the snob that he has on the side of the reel? Well, as the fish get bigger and bigger, and it becomes real critical that you don't break your line, this knob acts almost like a thumber, like a thumbing control on a really high quality fly reel or a bait caster, so that he can just put a little bit of pressure on here as that fish is running, and he can control how much pressure is put against that fish. But with that lever forward, the line comes out not freely as if you were casting, but it allows that fish to run and use up his energy. And then when he finds a time when the fish isn't running so high, then he can reel back and get some line in. And the next fish that he catches, or as I catch, and if I happen to catch it, Mark will be coaching me. We'll explain just how that comes into play. Oh, it is so important because, number one, fish are line shy, and I don't care what line there is, they're going to see it.
That's right.
And Mark has found that 4-pound test is about the best because they don't see it very well, they'll hit, and yet he's got enough strength to battle the fish.
That's correct.
But without having this system, that 4-pound test would soon become 1, and he would break every trophy that he ever hooked. Well, Mark, I've kind of spoke for you because I've listened to the way you've coached me. These are all Mark's ideas. This isn't me giving you all my wisdom. It's me giving you all the wisdom that Mark has accumulated through all his years of keeping records and coming out here and freezing to death and wondering why he wasn't catching these fish until he came up with this system.
I think, there he goes.
There he goes.
All right. Nice fish. Nice fish.
Geez, you don't miss them.
Well, it's, like I said, you snooze, you lose. You've got to be really on them. I'm going to lean up here because I really adore watching these fish come up. And it's so critical you do because if this is it. You see, if you have a long rod and you can't approach the hole, you could be angling a 10-pound trout at the bottom edge of the hole and they'll just saw that line off, especially 4-pound test. And you'll just never know where your fish is at.
Right. So it's important you see their head when it first...
Right, and actually, I would adore a big fish to run 6 or 7 times.
Get rid of his energy.
Get rid of his energy. The wheel reel lets these fish make a straight run without any inhibiting, which just wiggles the jig right up into their mouth. I think... Here he is, down at the edge now.
There his head's coming.
See how energetic he is? This is really a no-no. When they start shaking so hard down there like that,
Yeah.
I want to try to get them to,
Well, tell him what you meant was a no-no.
well, bringing them in when they're a little too hot.
I see.
Come on now. Come to Daddy. There he is. Oh, how beautiful. Oh, up one way and down the other.
How big a fish have you ever caught through the ice?
22-pound lake trout
Oh.
with 6-pound test with these rods. And then some 15-pound rainbows, male and female. There he is. Look at that lure placement. Look at that. You see how I land him?
Yes.
I try, my hand is always wet. I'm always thinking about this fish. I treat this fish like I treat my children. Ice fishermen have such a bum rap.
Your children must spend an awful lot of time in the water.
One of my children were born with the jig in their mouth. And there he is, Don. Isn't he beautiful?
He sure is.
He shines like our state, doesn't he?
Your state's a beauty. I love it.
Okay, well, let's get him back down, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Goodbye. Don't rush him. He's right there. Lever forward. Let him down slowly. Slowly. Get your right arm up onto the reel.
Well, I can't believe. I didn't even see a fish on the screen.
Essentially, you're doing everything right. You're watching the fish. There it goes. Look
See
at him run.
see how I'm doing this, and
That was perfect.
my finger is right on the little knob I explained down the reel.
You reel down to the fish and pull your hand off the crank real quick.
Okay, and then pull him up.
Yeah, slowly up. And don't move the fish. He's right there at the edge. Look at that. Look at that.
Yeah, this is a lot of fun. I'm not acting real jovial right now because I'm real concerned that my first one hopefully be successful. So I want to.
Can you see in the hole yet?
Yes.
Okay, bring your arm out to the side
Yeah.
and level the rod off. Level the rod. Don't point the rod at the fish. Now it's working for you. You see?
Mm-hmm.
It's dampening. But when you point it at the fish, you've lost all your dampening effect. You could lose the fish. Well, now see, when he pulls, you don't want your hand near that crank.
Right.
That's a summertime habit.
Yes, it is. And see, that's the beauty of these reels. Of course, you've got to get used to the fact that you've got a reel like this, but your your right hand should be on that nub, so that if you want, you can tighten down. Otherwise, he's just going to pull line freely, which I want him to do.
And reel down to the fish, even if you have to bend your knees. Keep the rod straight.
Okay.
And then pump up. Hand off the crank. That's it. Now, there he is. Oh, beautiful.
Well, you want to know something?
Beautiful, beautiful.
I think he's the smallest one of the day.
Not
And
by
that was
much.
good.
Not by much, Don.
Because I need to start with small ones. That way, when the big one comes, I'm an old skilled angler by that time, and
He was on him like a duck on a bug. You know that? You're getting good.
I'm getting great, I'll tell you. Tell us where we are.
We're at Stagecoach Reservoir, just out of Yampa, Colorado.
Mm-hmm.
I spent my youth up here hiking the high country, elk hunting, and several years ago they built this fishery here called Stagecoach Reservoir, which is a very fitting name for the reservoir. And they have such a rich shrimp plankton population here. I have to take my hats off to the biologists with the Colorado Division of Wildlife. They have managed their fisheries so well out here, despite the whirling disease problem that they've had, that it just makes it so much fun for me to bring my family, my children out here and catch fish. Because, as you well know, kids can tend to get very bored.
Right.
Well, my kids don't get bored. They're always catching fish. We're talking about the area. My son and daughters are constantly asking Dad questions about the country, about the elk, the wildlife, butterflies, insects. That we just have such a marvelous time up here. It's incredible.
Are there many other lakes like this?
Don, I'm going to show you some other lakes. And we'll be the only ones. Now, there's a few people here today. A few. But we're going to take the snowcat up to other lakes. This country is scattered with alpine lakes.
And they all have fish in them?
Oh, yes.
And they're all open to the public?
All open to the public, all national forests. It's our lands to use with good judgment and care.
Now, these are the jigs. What do you call them, by the way?
Well, they're ice fire jigs.
Ice fire jigs that Mark makes. You can see that the one that I caught my fish on was the one that was at the bottom.
I call those diamond jigs.
And the reason being, you got that little diamond.
That's right. Now, they look like whiteheads, but they're luminous paint and they glow in the dark. And then the heads that don't glow in the dark, the eyeballs glow in the dark.
So you got to glow.
So we start with 32nd ounce, for that's what you have there. There's a selection of 30 seconds. Then we go down here to the 180th, and a selection of colors to the 180th. Then we go up to the 164th, which is the same concept. And then here's some non-diamond 132nds here. So today it seems like they want that sparkle and flash.
Yeah, that diamond really attracts them. And then on the end of it, we have two little, what are they called?
Well, you really want me to tell you? They're maggots.
Two little maggots. I really wanted to know that. I've got 2 maggots or 3 maggots. I guess on this one I got 3 maggots, and it's real critical here. Mark says on this size, always put 3 maggots. As you go smaller, then to 2 maggots, and finally with the little tiny ones, you put 1 maggot on. But that maggot is, they love maggots. Boy, I'll tell you, if you got some maggots around, save them.
Corn grubs.
Corn grubs.
Yeah.
Ooh, son of a gun, did you know that just as I did that, he hit it?
He did.
But not because I did it, just before I hit it. I don't believe that.
Still on.
Oh, yes, but do you realize something?
That quivering or?
That was just the tiniest quiver of, oh, I almost did a bad boo-boo.
Lever forward.
I had the lever the wrong way. That was just the tiniest quiver. It's taken me a few hours to get your technique, but I'll tell you what, have you noticed how good I'm getting?
Yes, you are. You're getting fast. Very fast.
I hope everybody that knows me knows I'm kidding, that I've always got a lot to learn, but still, I'm getting them now. And the difference between success and failure is so small, isn't it?
Oh, yes. That fish's got some
Yeah,
spunk to it.
he's got some
Fix
spunk.
your rod saver while you're doing that. There you go.
Remember, everybody, keep your hand off the reel when the fish is fighting, except when you reel to him. Then when you're fighting him off the rod so that if he runs, my finger over here on my right-hand side is on the knob so I can control it if I have to. And then if he wants to run, remember, there's no drag, it's free spool. See that? And then when he slows down, I can come up on him a bit. Keep your elbow out. Heaven only knows why. I haven't figured that one out yet, but
Well, it helps you keep the rod level.
there you go.
Because when your arm's in, you're apt to bring the rod up your wrist.
Do you remember what I said? Whoever caught the next fish was what?
Champion of the day.
Obviously, it has nothing to do with who caught the most fish, does it?
Can I not comment on that?
This is what,
Oh, look
boy,
at that guy.
I'll tell you what, all my life I've been missing out on something.
You drag just a little too, sir.
All my life. Thought you said there wasn't any drag.
Yeah, we usually lock it off. That's why there isn't any. The drag is considered as a fail-safe, so if you do hit a big fish, it's set up just to zap one time. So some people get so excited they take it up about 20 feet in the air, and well, either the hook straightens out or...
Now when you get to this point, remember, I've been fighting this fish, he's made some runs, now he's getting near the hole. The most important thing is you don't want him going sideways down there at the bottom of the hole, because that line will catch in the ice. Oh.
He's right at the edge.
Yeah.
He's still spunky.
I'm telling you, this isn't too bad. This is a good way to end the day. They're getting bigger, each fish. We've still got many hours of sunlight, but you got me thinking of that trout dinner, and that's all I can think of.
Well, he wants to go, doesn't he?
Yeah,
Try not to fight him at that bottom edge, because that's where he's fighting you the worst.
okay. Explain that again.
Because they can hit that jig and back it out of their mouth, and the jig spins around and catches on the bottom edge of the hole. Here he comes. Beauty! You're going to land this one.
Yes, I am.
Look at that.
Oh. So what am I now?
You're the master.
Boy, you talk about having somebody cued.
Dr. Don.
Well, you know how we're going to do this? I'm going to thank you immensely for this wonderful opportunity for rainbow trout. And you're all going to wonder right now, will I return it or will I going to eat it tonight? And I'm not really going to tell you, but if I do, you know I deserve that treat after all these years of catch and release. So I hope you've enjoyed the show. I hope you've learned a lot about ice fishing. And we'll see you again next week on another Rod and Reel Streamside.
To receive your own video cassette of this program, send $14.95 plus $2.50 shipping and handling to WNPE WNPI TV, P.O. Box 125, Watertown, New York 13601 0125. Or call 1-800-869-2665. Please ask for the program number on your screen. Credit cards are accepted. That's 1-800-869-2665.
Rod and Reel Streamside is made possible by grants from Car Freshener Corporation. We make the Little Tree air fresheners for your home, car, and camper. Tourism Quebec. When the name of the game is fishing or hunting, a wilderness adventure is closer than you think. Quebec. And the National Media Corporation, the makers of patented flying lures for all popular species of game fish. Lures that swim away from you and change direction. Flying lures find the fish.
We should catch some fish and the rod should bend, but we're happy most of all for the time we spend just trying. And if they don't bite, well that's okay, 'cause it's good to leave some fish for another day of fishing. We love fishing. And tomorrow we can go to another place. I know you will find us fishing Streamside. Streamside. We have gone fishing.